I'm Maynard Eaton, and this is SCLC TV. I'm joined, of course, by our President and CEO, Dr. Charles Steele Jr. Today, the Supreme Court thumbs down on census questions, thumbs up on gerrymandering. Dr. Steele politicizing the gerrymandering of voting districts throughout this country. Supreme Court says, yes, we can allow partisan gerrymandering. You say?
I'm saying we need to have fairness in regardless who's in power, who's in office, and to be fair is the right thing to do on a democracy, which we claim we are all equals.
The intent for democracy.
The intent, absolutely, Maynard. You and I talked earlier about the 1965 Voter Rights Act. The intent was to be equitable, which means equality, fairness for all citizens within this country. But then when you give over and say that gerrymandering is the intention of who's in power,
right,
that's discriminatory.
They're saying you have the permission to rig districts to your liking. In other words, you're a Republican, you can rig your district the way you want to if you're in control of the state legislature.
Redundancy, here I go. Section 4 and Section 5 of the 1965 Voter Rights Act. It ain't there no more. It's not there. It was gutted. That's what bring about the discriminatory practices in terms of partisan politics.
Well, you fight for human rights, civil rights, and those poor people, white and black.
Us poor people.
This gonna hurt your cause?
This is gonna hurt the cause, because I'm not saying partisan politics is the answer, which you can't get around it, because that's just like saying all Christian folks should be of one denomination. I'm saying the intent of the 1965 Voter Rights Act, Section 4 and Section 5 was gutted, which gave us the protection of doing as close as we can to do what's right.
A busy day in the Supreme Court. They blocked President Trump's attempt to ask a question about your citizenship on the U.S. Census, which threatened and scared a lot of folks.
Absolutely. People should feel comfortable and not be interrogated. That's what that is. People should feel a part of the process and not to be categorized and recalibrated to partisan politics. Someone trying to figure out where are the votes.
Right.
And I'm saying that's wrong. If people in this country and they say they are citizens, they should not go through investigation as a criminal.
Chief Roberts, the Supreme Court's chief, said, writing for the majority, said that the reason the explanation for asking the question was inadequate. In other words, aren't many of us fearful of being asked about on the census anyway?
Most people of color, most poor people are afraid to even go around the courthouse. Oh yes, I know about this. Growing up as a young man in Alabama, in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, people were fearful of the government. And the government has never had the trust of those disenfranchised, and particularly folks of color and poor people.
Where do we go from here, you think? There is a question about whether or not we can ever have a political sort of solution to many of our issues plaguing us now. Are you fearful that politics is not working for the least of these?
I only fear God. If we allow the government to work for those who are only rich and not the disenfranchised and those who are poor, it's our fault. We the people. We are too complacent and not focusing upon the fact that every time you accomplish something like the 1965 Voter Rights Act, the catalyst of freedom all over the world, if you don't jump on the gutting of Section 4 and Section 5, everything else is a roller coaster. It's coming down.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been SCLC TV. Our convention, our 61st annual convention is July 18th here in Atlanta. I'm Maynard Eaton.